Hello YouTube, my name is James, and today I'm going to be replacing the hard drive in a laptop. I'm actually going to be pulling the hard drive from one laptop and putting it in another. My donor laptop today is going to be this Dell Latitude. It has a bad battery and just it's going to be my donor laptop today. And that hard drive is going to go into this Dell Latitude. So this laptop, according to the diagnostics, the built-in diagnostics in it, says that it's in overall good shape. It just needs a new hard drive. So without further ado, let's get into it. Here's our donor laptop, and the first thing we're going to have to do is take the battery out, which can usually be done by these two clips here. One of them, like this one, just slides to the side. Usually, I guess they both do. Sometimes you'll have like this where they just lock to the side until you put the new battery in. Sometimes you'll have one that locks to the side and the other one you have to slide over and hold. But this one, they both lock, so we will take the battery out. Okay, so I've got the battery out, and the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go around and take out all of the screws that hold the bottom of this laptop in place. Okay. Oh, well, never mind. The hard drive apparently was right here. So I don't have to take this whole thing apart. Awesome. Alright, but this is the hard drive. Flip it right side up so you guys can read that. This is a Toshiba manufactured hard drive with a capacity. Yeah. Let me see if it says on here. The storage capacity on this thing is 320 gigabytes. It says right on the label somewhere. There we go, right here. So 320 gigabytes. So there's the hard drive. We're done with this computer. So we'll set it to the side and pull up the computer, this one that needs the new hard drive. Looks like most of the screws on this one have already been removed. There's supposed to be one here. It's not there anymore. So we will take and pop this cover off. Somehow. Change the bit on my screwdriver to a flathead, and then I can get underneath there and pop this off. And I don't want to rip this off because oh, this is on there really well. Come on. Oh, I think. All right. Yep. Almost off. There we go. So back cover's off. And this is what the inside of this laptop looks like. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove the hard drive, which is here. I'll find a better suited screwdriver tip. There we go, than the one that I had. The one that I had was just a little bit too small, so I need to go a little bigger. And we're going to take out these 4 screws. Well, these this screw, and these two screws here. We're going to take those out. That'll allow us to remove the hard drive cage, the hard drive bracket from the computer. So we'll go ahead and pull these out. And all right, and our hard drive is out. So we can set this one aside. This particular hard drive is a Seagate, and it's a 250 gigabyte hard drive. So we're going to upgrade it to a 320 gigabyte hard drive. So there's some. This computer will be nice and happy with a little extra storage in it. So we'll take out to remove the hard drive from this cage. There's one screw here that I already took out. It's this screw. And then there's one more screw on this side. So we'll take this one out. And then this should, once all the screws are out, just lift up. A little bit of coaxing, maybe. That should just lift up and wiggle out of there. There we go. This one is out, and that drive is no good. So same thing with this one. We're going to take the screw out of here. Same on this side. And that looks to be all the screws that are in this cage. Oh, there is no screw on this side. Never mind. So it's just the one screw here. So take this out. And that comes apart. I don't know if, yeah, that comes apart. This just slides off. See, laptops use all different kinds of methods for mounting their hard drives. This one just pretty much peels off of here. It's kind of sticky on there. But that just peels off. We'll set those to the side because we do not need those. And then this drive, if I put it in the right way, would be fantastic. There we go. We'll just set this drive in the drive sled here and put the two screws back on. Now, I'm not going to worry too much about copying the data from the old drive to the new drive for a couple of reasons. One, the drive's damaged. It's not going to copy correctly anyway. And, well, I don't have the proper equipment for doing data recovery from hard drives. So if I open the drive will be bad, even if it wasn't. But we put these screws back in here. Make sure they're snug, not over tight, but just snug enough. You know. And then we bring this laptop back up. And see what else is in here since we have it open. The memory modules here are, how much memory does this system have? This is 2 gigabyte. This one is a 2 gigabyte stick. This one is also a probably 2 gigabyte as well, and they're Samsung, so it's nice. They're good brand. Yep, these are two 2 gigabyte sticks. So this machine has a total of 4 gigabytes of RAM. So what we're going to do now is put the hard drive back in here, and you're going to kind of angle the front end down just a little bit and then slide forward. That's it. The hard drive is installed. So the only thing we have left to do is to put the screws back in to hold the sled in place. Come on. This would be a lot easier if I had a magnetic screwdriver tip, but I don't, so. Oh, come on. I go for another screw hole. Come back to that one. Okay, and the last screw. There we go. And that's it. The hard drive is swapped. The only thing we've got left to do is put this panel back on, which just pretty much snaps into place. So we'll just set it in there and then push down on all the edges until it starts popping in. Or I'll do like that. There we go. That already puts this whole side in where it needs to be. The rest of this should just snap down in there. And the clips on this thing are really, really tight. So, but there it is. The hard drive is installed. Since we're taking the time today to talk about hard drives, I figured I would take a moment to show you guys what's actually inside a hard drive in case anybody was curious. The hard drives that I've taken apart are not actually working, so it's not a big deal that I've taken them apart because, like I said earlier, if you do take apart a hard drive at home, you will break it. Like, do not take apart a hard drive that is working. They're sealed to keep dust out. And once you get even the tiniest little speck of dust, because of how hard drives work, you can damage the drive and it will not be usable after that. So let's dig in. Okay, so what I've done is I've taken the cover off of this hard drive just to kind of show you guys what's inside it. You know, what the inside of a hard drive looks like. And I will show you in a little bit what the different parts are. But for right now, this is kind of what the inside of a hard drive looks like. And I will show you, I wanted to take the opportunity, like I said, the drive does not work. But we're going to plug this drive in just to show you what is going on inside a hard drive when it's trying to do something. If I plug this in, you'll see the drive spin up, and you'll see the arm move around. What that arm is doing is it's trying to get a position. It's trying to read what's on the disk. The drive's bad, so it's okay that I have it opened. On the case of the drive, you might notice there's like this piece here. It's a filter, but it's also like a pressure release valve. So the air pressure inside the drive is the same as the air pressure outside the drive. But being filtered, it's also keeping the dust out of the drive. So, yeah, I'll unplug the drive, let it spin down, and then plug it back in just so you guys can see again what it's trying to do. So normally, when you try to read or write to a drive, you'll see the head like bouncing all over the drive, and trying to read the different sectors for the data that you've written to it. But like I said, this drive is not working, so not possible to show that right now. I would have loved to, but yeah, such is life. Wait. Maybe this drive will work to let me show you what I'm talking about. So I'll unplug this one. Like these drives that I have taken apart, they don't work. But this one might work well enough for me to show you. So we'll swap the drive out, and we'll plug this one in and see what it does. So it spins up. You see the head moving around, and it's trying to do something. As soon as it stops, we'll see if it. This one is really trying, isn't it? It doesn't sound like this one's going to do it either. Yep, doesn't seem like this one's going to show up either. That's all right. I'll let that spin down. I'm going to show you the different components of a hard drive, and through the magic of video editing, I have one taken apart for you. So this little piece is just a cover, would go here typically to hold the platters in place. This is a hard drive platter. It is very shiny, as you can tell. Very, very reflective. There's me somewhere. There we go. Yep, that's me. And these were made out of metal. Now most of them are made out of glass, so they can shatter if dropped. I honestly don't know what the coating is that's on them, but it is a metallic type coating. That's what allows the drive head to read or write. It's what allows it to store data. This particular drive has two platters. So if I can get this other one out as well, there we go. has two platters that's separated by a little spacer. So the spacer is just a ring of metal sits in between the two platters to keep them separated so that the drive heads can um, move between the platters. This drive only has one platter. So only has one platter and therefore one set of drive heads. The reason the hard drives are sealed is because this head, you might have noticed the second drive that I had hooked up was making kind of a whining noise. And I think that's because of having too much air in there because I had the lid off. But these drive heads basically they don't normally contact the disk surface. If they make contact, it'll scratch the disk and you'll have data loss. So the drive heads just kind of float just above the surface of the disk, on basically a cushion of air. So this piece here in the middle is the spindle motor. So it makes the drive discs spin in a circle. Well, spin around. This is the drive head assembly, the hard drive head assembly, and it is comprised of two sets of drive heads, which as soon as I pull this apart, they're going to snap together because they're also very strong magnets, which is why when they're placed here in this parking position, there is this little piece of plastic that keeps the drive heads separated. So when they come into park, they'll rub across here and it'll just keep them separated while the head is parked. So that's all this little piece of plastic does, is just keeps the heads separate when they're not in use. So this is the drive head that is controlled by this very strong magnet. Get my screwdriver here so I can try to pry this apart. Come on. There we go. So, took my screwdriver head with me. So this little metal plate is just a magnet. It's just a solid magnet. It's quite strong. It will, if it touches the wrong places, could damage the data on the drive. But whoever said you can't put magnets near hard drives? Not a good idea, but the drive is literally run by a bunch of magnets. So this is one part of the magnetic control assembly. And if I can get this to come out of here, this has to come out of here somehow. Is it still screwed in? It is screwed in. That's why it's not coming out. It's not coming out because there's a small screw that I missed here on the back. So I will work on getting that out. All right, there we go. I've got it out. So, now that I have the little screw out of the back, I can take this apart. So this is the other magnet that helps to control the drive head movement. Yeah, as you can tell, these are quite strong, and will probably have to be pried apart later, but that's all right. I'll stick them together. They basically just sandwich together like this with the drive head arm in between. So the head arm comes apart, and what makes the head arm move between the magnets is this coil here. It's an electromagnet, an electromagnet, and this coil is controlled by this little bit of circuitry here. In a way, it's controlled by this little bit of circuitry, although I think this just carries the signals from the controller board. But it's moved around by, you know, just varying fields of electricity through this coil. Just varying the field through the coil, and that will make it move around like you saw earlier in the video. So the last thing is this control board, and it's just held on by a whole bunch of these little screws. So I take all of these little screws apart, I'll be able to remove this control board from the housing of the hard drive. And then these three little screws right here in the middle, I believe also help to hold the hard drive spindle motor in place. So we'll take these out as well. And then I'll be able to remove this control board. Should just lift right off if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, there we go. So this is the hard drive control board. It has all different kinds of components on it, as you can tell, which include there should be some level of cache. There's a controller on here that handles, you know, how the head moves around, handles translating the data from the hard drive to the computer, and like I said, has some cache so that the computer can send the data to this board, and it will store it in cache, which is a type of temporary memory, to be written to the drive whenever the drive is available to write to it. So the head motor will connect here, and the spindle motor has a couple of contacts on it, and it will connect to this drive through these little contacts here. So, but this is the control board. You know, it has your SATA connectors, SATA power, SATA data, and there's that. And then the drive motor itself, can I get this off of here? I've never actually taken a drive motor off, so I'm not sure. It doesn't seem to be able to come off easily. Maybe there's a screw under here. I think there might be. Anyway, I'm not going to worry about it. It's just a small DC motor. Spins. Nothing too fancy about it. So, but this is the actual housing for the rest of the hard drive. There's that. There's a hard drive completely disassembled. Let's see what's next. So, now that we've got the hard drive installed and everything is put together, ready to go, I've reinstalled Windows on this machine. So the only thing left to do, and I will show you guys, is to turn it on and let it boot up. As you can see, it boots up just fine. The only thing left to be done on this computer is to, you know, just set Windows up, and I will leave that up to the owner of the computer to do. But it is booting, and very slow system. It's an old system. But as you can see, it boots.
Hi there, I'm Cortana, and I'm here to help.
I will turn this off and let the owner set it up the way they want it set up. Thank you for watching, and if you like this video, go ahead, hit like, subscribe, share the video. Well, share any of the videos on my channel, and I will see you in the next one.